Hellblade Senua Sacrifice is an emotional game. It was an experience that I'm not sure is for everyone depending on where they are in life. If you're familiar with my reviews, you may know that the goal is to describe the game to see who these are for. That way, you, the viewer, can decide if this game is worth playing. All too often, I find ratings don't do games justice. The rating systems tend to create an echo chamber online about what is good or worth playing. Ratings take something subjective and assign a general number based on the reviewer's preference. It's a good reference point to start, though, don't get me wrong, but players like different things. Some people love Candy Crush, some love Anthem, hell, I love Star Fox Adventures and BioShock 2. Games aren't universal, and I don't believe their ratings are either. I believe Senua Sacrifice is a great example of how complicated games can be. The ratings for this game could be misleading for someone who always plays the highest rated games. Hellblade is a completely different experience compared to a Red Dead Redemption 2. Hellblade Senua Sacrifice is a celebrated game because it tackles the difficult subjects of mental health diseases, grief, wrath, and hopelessness in the video game art form. I too celebrate this game, but from a perspective that views the game as a big help for others to learn about the struggles of other people. This type of video game is something I would put in the same sentiment as Schindler's List is to the film industry. Both are entertainment mediums with powerful messages that I believe people should experience. That doesn't mean I want to watch Schindler's List over and over again, but I can appreciate how much I got out of that movie. In addition, I feel that timing is important for those who play Hellblade. A 12-year-old child, which the game's ratings should be stopping them from playing this game, but we know how effective ESRB ratings are at preventing kids from getting a hold of mature games, sidebar over, would not get the same value that a 16-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 25-year-old, a 40-year-old, and so on would get, because where you are in life really impacts what you can take away from this game. A child may see this as a boring and scary game, while someone struggling later in life can see this as an answer to feelings they can't express. I would not recommend Hellblade Senua Sacrifice to play for most people, but I would recommend they watch a Let's Play or do it with friends because the discussion it spawns while playing is helpful to growing people's perspectives. I was happy I got to talk with my viewers on Twitch about it. In addition, I am a very empathetic person, or so it seems to me throughout how much I hurt when I hear other sad stories. That trait of mine comes with an assortment of issues, one of them being my struggle to finish this game. The developers, Ninja Theory, do a terrific job at making the players feel what Senua is experiencing right from the opening scene. Throughout the game, you will be bombarded with whispers, making it hard for you to focus or think on a single task for too long before hearing other voices speaking contradictions or supporting you in your ear. The screams, the anger, the sadness, the visuals all express this horribly traumatic experience for Senua and translate psychosis to the player. Ninja Theory is exceptional at translating this psychosis, or what I interpret as schizophrenia at times, through the in-game mechanics. I believe Ninja Theory was so good at implementing Senua's struggles into the game that Melina Jurgen's motion capture performance put the emotional connection to the character over the top for me while playing. It was so hard to watch Senua scream in pain or talk destructively to herself throughout the game. I found myself frequently saying, I guess I'm playing Watch Someone Experience Trauma, the game. I believe a fair amount of people who play video games try to escape the worst in the world through them. Senua Sacrifice is a great reality check to our world of fantasy and fun inside video games, but that comes at the cost of me never wanting to play this game again. I think this was a me issue because of how I empathize and love storytelling. I have a tough time separating myself from the entertainment medium when I'm engaged. Video games force you to stay engaged if you want to finish the story. That's why horror games fill me with dread, because you have to stay engaged. I'm always worried about what I have to do next that I might not want the character to go through. Anyone who can just say, it's a game, and can dodge past the deeper meanings or even the projections you, the player, might put onto the game will have no problem completing the journey. As for me, I don't want to see Senua screaming and writhing in pain again. Poor girl went through so much in this journey. This fictional character is so profoundly broken, I don't think it would ever be fun for me to go through her story again after the ending. With the emotional portion of this game out of the way, let's talk about the actual game mechanics and narrative. One of the rallying calls around this game is the fact that about 20 developers, 20, made Hellblade. They are a self-proclaimed indie studio who wanted to create a game that felt like a AAA title without being a AAA studio. To me, without question, they pulled this off very well. The baseline of expectations is exceeded thanks to Ninja Theory's use of Unreal Engine 4, which makes the game look like a AAA title. It looks incredible. The graphics are bolstered by the wonderful motion capture performances, mainly by Melina Juergens. Many differences I find between indie and AAA games are graphics, especially if they're not going for that artsy style of pixel art or a Borderlands cel shading. A person can take one look to see the difference in quality in an indie title versus AAA and know, but when they look at Hellblade, it looks the part. As good as the graphics are, I didn't care for the real person acting performances that would be overlaid in-game. It is comparable to Angel from Borderlands 2, but inside Hellblade, the performances blend into the world a little better. I could be mistaken, but the live performances overlaid in the game appeared to me as something the small studio needed to do because they couldn't afford motion capture for all their actors. They bet on Senua to be the focus, and I think they were right to do so, if that was their budget. Senua's Sacrifice is a character-driven game that delivers a strong character arc for a person looking for answers to her hardest and darkest questions. You are able to walk around the world on a guided path, which I found to be a bummer at times. The typical formula of the game is watching a cutscene, take a long walk, showcasing the world, geography, sort of like an establishing shot in a movie, solve a puzzle to find a boss, fight the boss or Northman ghosts that halt your progress, and then repeat. I found the combat system to be fun at first, but grew boring later in the game. Due to the strict formula in Hellblade, I found myself spamming the same attack combo over and over to ensure I wouldn't die, leading to a boring combat experience throughout the game. To sidebar for a second, there's a rumor about the game mechanics. It is a rumor if you die enough times, the game will reset and delete your save. I was told this on my playthrough of the game, causing me to be stressed out to the point of not enjoying the game at times because I didn't want to have to play through the game again due to the rough scenes. Sadly for me, looking this up afterwards, couldn't find a single video proving this. Not a single thing. In fact, I found people saying that the rumor was started so people could feel the same sense of urgency Senua feels toward her task. That Senua feels that if she fails, all is lost. The players should feel the same. This all came because of the intro to the game has this ominous warning that the rot on Senua will cause her to die if it travels too far, and then all progress will be lost. I saw many videos testing to try to get the reset, but 50+ deaths in different spots in the game didn't result in anything. A reset feature is not my cup of tea in a game where you have to see the main character screaming in pain while having panic attacks. So I'm glad it's not actually in the game. It's more metaphorical for how the whole game goes. But I don't want to get into spoiler territory. I think a reset feature can work well in games like The Binding of Isaac or Castlevania series because the subject matter is so different. So I may have spoiled the big rumor for you, but I also don't think it helps the game in any way. It added to my stress for the reasons I don't want to play this game again. Although, I do adore the boss fights in this game. The soundtrack is exceptional at setting the mood. The most fun I had was during all the major boss fights, especially since boss fights added new ways to approach the combat system in contrast to all the boring combos I was using over and over again to ensure I wouldn't die for the fear of a save reset. The Northman fights were horribly boring. The first act of the game dragged on for me because I chose to activate a lot of the stones around the map that helped give backstory to the game. I found the story to get so depressing that I stopped getting them all together. Sadly, that locked me out of the secret ending. But one YouTube search is way less work than playing through that game and finding all the runes just to hear the most depressing, awful genocidal story around. I couldn't take another terrible story about the Northmen, which, I'd like to point out, is the way a game accomplishes the lore through the mechanics. Based on what happens in game, the Northmen should always be on Senua's mind. By having tons of lore playing all the time about them helps to reinforce this feeling of obsessing over the Northmen like Senua would to the players. The sequence feels like a friend you know who is always bringing up or makes comparisons about an old ex they still can't let go of. The hurt is still there, still sitting at the top of their mind, just like the Northmen are all over Senua's mind. I found most of Senua's Sacrifice to be more of a guided movie and less of an enjoyable video game. That is typically why the Telltale games aren't my personal cup of tea, though I do not deny how well made those games are. I did love the puzzles inside Hellblade, where Senua would walk through portals in order to access different parts of the map. That experience was so clever. In addition, I found a fair amount of the menu options to be great for the PC experience. I was thrilled I could remap buttons to my mouse, change texture settings, resize windows, etc. Just about everything you expect to have is there for a PC player, which gives you the feeling of a well-polished game. Acts 2 and 3 pick up the front portion of the game heavily. It deals with major motivations of characters and the resolution of her journey. With these reviews, I try to avoid spoilers because the whole point of these is to try and see if you want to play them. The game is 2 years old, but getting released for the Switch in 2 days as of the date of writing the script, so you never know when the release will drive new people to the game. Another point to bring up, those voices I mentioned earlier are called Furies, which build on the theme of the narrative. I really enjoy how they could be helpful or harmful to Senua throughout the game. Again, nailing this visual and audio translation of mental health diseases to our audience is fantastically well done and well handled. Overall, Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice is an excellent story with a strong message I support. As a video game, it isn't for everyone. It is a game that helps people understand mental health issues a little better, it helps people learn about their own journeys of grief and loss, and this game may be a piece of art a person needs in their life to get through the darkest portion of their life. Senua is an excellent character because of the choices she makes, the trials she faces, how she fails, how she succeeds, and how she moves forward. There are many good things people can take away from this game, just like a person can take away from watching a film like Schindler's List. If you are looking for new perspectives, want a strong narrative that makes you think on different physical and emotional levels, Hellblade is a fabulous game for you. I commend Ninja Theory for bringing professionals in the mental health profession to help consult on the treatment of psychosis inside this game. I love the fact at the end of the game they even promote how to seek help these difficult topics for anyone that needs it. Thank you for watching. If you want to see my playthrough of Hellblade or any other games I review, you can find them on my Twitch account linked in the description of this video. The next game I'm reviewing is the Game of the Year 2018 God of War. I'm excited to see if it lives up to the hype. Currently, I have a spring sale lasting until April 24th. Please head over to my shop at redrendering.com, link in the description, if you would like to pick up some posters, mugs, or t-shirts. Thank you to my wonderful patrons and Twitch subscribers for supporting the creation of these videos. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.